This evening we're coming to you from Letterkenny in County Donegal, and we're here to mark 40 years of the local Institute of Technology, which is known in short as the LYIT. Now the main campus here is in Letterkenny town, but there is another one, a second campus about 60 kilometres away in Killybegs. The student population is 3,000 and they study a range of courses from science to business to tourism and engineering. Most of the students come from Donegal, but they do also come from all around the northwest. And this evening we're going to be finding out about this impressive facility. We will be talking to some of the students and learning about the impact that the LYIT has on this part of the country. And because we're talking birthdays and celebrations, last week President McAleese came here to visit to join in the 40th birthday celebrations.
From start-up through 40 fairly hectic years of development, this place has existed because of the passion of people, the belief they have in the role played by education as an engine of hope, of growth, as a key to unlocking door, as a bridge to individual futures, as a bridge to community futures, as a bridge to regional futures. And so really today we celebrate the people who have guided this place night and day. And so this place has been part of that 40-year journey from the days of Cian Fui to the days of Can Do. And the work of the people who invested in this place has been vindicated year in and year out by the students who come here, people who worked hard, who graduated, who went out from this place as ambassadors for the Institute, whether it was here in Donegal or much, much further abroad. So that investment in education, in training, in retraining, in upskilling, in giving people confidence in themselves, confidence in their place, they are utterly central to our country's recovery. We can look back over that 40-year journey and we are heartened by what we've seen, and it should give us a lot of hope for the 40-year journey ahead. Gomarashib and Cade, for Milamanga, Amor.
Great praise there for LYIT from President McAleese when she visited here last week. Now, many of the courses, much emphasis is placed on students getting hands-on experience in their field of study so they're well prepared for the world of work when they graduate. And we went to see how this is actually done in the computing department, on creative and media design courses, and also in the relatively new Bachelor of Science in Veterinary Nursing course. And in that one, our reporter Helen Mark discovered that the students have to be prepared to get their hands pretty dirty.
And you're going to stand a little back from the horse, a little back like that, and you're going to just shine it into his eye like that. Okay, now tell me what you see.
Green.
The greenness, okay. So that's the retina you're looking at. So here we're in the Luggy Brack Open Farm, and it's an open farm quite near the college, and we run practicals here once a week for students in animal handling skills. And you should be able to hear the mitral valve there. Okay. Okay, can you hear that? Can you hear two heart sounds?
Yeah.
This part of the course would be fairly unique in that this really isn't done in other courses where the focus is more or less on small animals. In Ireland we tend to focus more so on the large animals because most veterinary nurses will gain employment in mixed practice. And for example, if a veterinary nurse has dosed a calf herself and she's giving advice to a farmer about dosing in 2 years' time, well, that's all to the good. In 1988 I qualified as a veterinary surgeon. There was very few veterinary nurses working in Ireland at that time. It was a thing where lay people went in and covered these jobs in veterinary practice. Now qualified veterinary nurses are there.
Back on campus, the veterinary training is just as hands-on, as students have access to everything they would encounter in an actual practice.
Excellent.
Within the course there's a huge variety. It's very, very practical based, so that's where we gear our programme towards. We have very good facilities. With me also being in practice, I can bring real live time cases to the classroom, which is fantastic for learning and group learning and peer learning as well. Our veterinary nurses are the backbone of any general veterinary practice. They have to be able to multitask in a lot of different areas. There's an opportunities for them to be medicine nurses, surgical nurses, and also work in the pharmacy and laboratory areas within a veterinary practice. The entry level for veterinary nursing is very high. On CAO applications, our points this year were 385. The points are being driven because of the popularity of the course. What's special about the veterinary nursing programme is that our students are able to find employment in Ireland. They don't have to leave the country in order to seek employment. We have 14 new graduates this year, and they've all been employed now in practices, which is very rewarding for us. And the feedback that we're getting from the practice is that they're very good professional young veterinary nurses.
Computer games are not just for fun. The computing department offers a wide range of courses, the newest and most challenging being in digital forensics and 3D computer game development.
In the computing field, the landscape is changing day to day, month to month, and the challenge within a computing department is always to keep up with that. The kind of core stream to all our courses is computer programming, and it must be, because computer programming is the skill that's required there in the marketplace at the moment. As a leading software producer, Ireland is constantly looking for computer programmers. Students with a decent grasp of mathematics can program, and if they can program, they can get a job in Ireland right now. Our starting salaries for some of our graduates are around 30,000. It's been a recession-proof industry. So at the minute, we're getting a lot of final year students working in mobile apps. It's now possible for very small teams of developers to produce software that is commercially viable. 1 or 2 people can produce a mobile application now and run their own business from that. And that's something we want to encourage here at Letterkenny. By the time we get the students to 4th year, we've taken them through some pretty heavy computing areas. We've taken them through advanced physics, mathematics, and so on. So at this point, students are able to produce 3-dimensional games.
Yeah, this is a real-time dynamic lighting at the moment. So you can see it's cast on the shadows based on where the ball's location is.
It's been a good course. It's good that the course is quite diverse. It gets you a good grounding. It's not just sort of one subject. You cover all the sort of game development aspects. We do modelling and the texturing side of it, plus we do the programming as well, so it gives you a good sort of overview of what the game development sort of industry has to offer.
If a student can produce work to this level, it's an indication that their programming skills are extremely high, and more than that, their grasp of the games industry is broad and deep. Those are precisely the skills that the games industry is looking for.
Having an understanding of all the elements required by a job in industry also applies to students in the creative media and design department. For example, their product design course is very high tech, but it begins with the basics.
It starts off at the pencil and paper stage, where students will design out their concepts on paper, and then they'll transfer that into the computer, where they'll create it as a 3D object on screen. And then we've now got access to a 3D printer here in the Institute, where we're actually able to produce the prototype as a working model in plastic. So this process is replicating what has been used in industry now, so we're really lucky the students are getting hands-on experience at using industry equipment. The Creative Digital Media programme consists of 3 streams of animation, audio, video and web design, and again all the projects are studio based, and one of the key elements is the audio video, and we have excellent resources in that area.
Go.
Good afternoon and welcome to the LYT News Desk. Let's take a weather check firstly. What's it looking like out there today, Helen?
Well, Bob, it's not too bad compared to the storms that we had earlier in the week.
The students are all taught TV studio production here. They learn all the different roles of cameraman, sound engineer, vision mixer, and they get experience in all those different areas. So when they leave here, they're ready to go and work in the industry in any one of those positions.
Tonight the sun will set at 19:42. And I'll leave you now with a time-lapse sunset scene from the Donegal coast.
we can but hope that the weather prospects will be good for the weeks to come. And you know, that media course is one of over 70 on offer here at LYIT. The president of the institute is Paul Hannigan. Paul, it's lovely for Nationwide to be here as part of your 40th birthday celebrations. Big occasion last week when President McAleese came.
Yes, Mary, it really was a fantastic event for the Institute, and it's great that Nationwide are here to celebrate with us. We organised 1 week of very focused events to recognise the contribution of the college in the region over the last 40 years, and the President visiting on Thursday really was the icing on the cake from that perspective.
Bring us back to 1971. It actually started as a regional technical college. There must have been a need seen for it here.
So in 1971, if you can imagine, Letterkenny was a very different town, a very different place at the time, but you had a group of staff who came here and really developed a very pioneering spirit, if you like, in terms of how this college should evolve. Initially they took in Leaving Cert students and then started to develop specialist courses in the area of science, engineering and business. Now we have retained that structure in terms of the 3 academic schools of science, engineering and business, but we've also added the School of Tourism in Killybegs has become part of us since 2007, so we now operate 4 academic schools here.
Huge changes have happened, and the campus is very impressive and very expansive.
Yeah, it's great the way it has developed, because what has happened here in Letterkenny is the town has actually grown out around the campus. So now we have become really a town centre location, and that's very important from our perspective in terms of our presence in the town.
Okay, and what we're trying to do is make sure that this proportion of throughput time made up of where content is as high as possible.
What are the job prospects locally for students once they graduate?
We continually survey our students at graduation to find out where they are, what jobs they're doing, what they need to do maybe to secure further employment, and we would hope that what we're doing in collaboration with business here in this region, that we're creating opportunities for them to live and work in the region.
If you were to give an overview of the impact that LYIT has had on the town, what would you say?
Well, I think it's been tremendous. If you look at the economic impact, which we measure on a regular basis, the Institute is worth around €100 million per annum in terms of economic impact. The student expenditure alone within that is around €15 million. And I think people have really recognised that, not just in Letterkenny, but in the region generally, and we do contribute substantially.
Letterkenny Institute of Technology is unusual in that it has 2 separate locations, this campus here and another one in South Donegal. What happened was LYIT incorporated an existing catering college in Killybegs, which was well known for its courses in tourism and in catering. And because of the link now, Killybegs has been able to expand its existing courses and also to create some new and exciting ones. Eileen Magner has this report.
Since the 1960s, Killybegs has been synonymous with training for the hospitality industry. But since it became part of LYIT in 2007, it's operating at a higher level and adding new strings to its bow.
You can see by looking at the close-up that the bearing is damaged, putting on this bearing. So we would need to replace that bearing.
Lecturer Frank Sweeney is working with students on the new Wind Energy Technology course in Killybegs. It's a direct response to an industry need for trained technicians, and the course facilities include the first training tower of its kind in the country.
It's a 27-metre training tower designed specifically for working heights training for the industry. We have developed the programme in response to the County Development Board strategy of developing Donegal in the green economy. So, you know, public and private bodies have all come together. So at Gobber Lakela, we have done very, very well in putting together public and private partnerships to make this a reality.
2 recent graduates of the course were back for a visit when we dropped in. Both had been left unemployed by the construction downturn, and both now have jobs with Siemens Ireland.
Well, I was fortunate enough to get the placement with Siemens Ireland Limited, and I was with them for 6 weeks and asked to stay on a further 4 weeks. And when the interviews came around, that experience was valuable, and getting the job, I was very fortunate to get a job offer from them, and over the moon with it.
Very delighted to get the job. It was like, as I said to my lecturer, it was like winning the lottery. And I put it down to this course because this course gives you the confidence to talk in an interview situation about the wind energy and put forward your experience.
Joining forces with LYIT has not only seen the development of a new area of expertise in Killybegs, it has also meant a major upgrading in the traditional courses on offer.
We certainly wanted to develop our degree level programmes and our professional skills in the areas of culinary arts, as you've seen, and also areas like hotel management, event management, tour guiding, and certainly all of those areas that are key for jobs now for people who want a career in the hotel industry, tourism industry, rather than the jobs of the past.
Plan to maybe get away after I finish it, maybe travel abroad, go somewhere, you know.
And this course is a good passport for that,
is it? Definitely, yeah, it's good. It's good to get you on straight onto cruise liners, or but they have a big list of placements where they can put you, and they find the best placement suitable for you, and you can go where you want to go. You know, it's up to yourself what you want to do with it when you're finished.
The courses I'm doing is culinary enterprise. It's a mix between business and food. So you're not going to get bored because you're doing a lot of different topics. And student life, I travel up and down, so I would spend that in Letterkenny. But yeah, it's enjoyable.
I have a massive passion in cooking, and this is my first day here in Killybegs. I'm doing the Total Immersion Chefing Programme, and I just absolutely cannot wait to start. I love cooking. So. And someday hopefully to have my own restaurant.
Fabulous.
Which is a dream. I would love that.
It's a catering college, so you know what you're going to expect. You get well fed, and you're generally going to have you're going to have you're not going to go hungry.